friends, welcome back to the art room with Mrs. Nolte. We are going to be creating our elements for our collage piece today. This is our collage of our cocoa cup. The elements that we need are our monoprints that we made. We have cool and warm color monoprints. We also have the shapes that I made templates from, and if you wanted to do this on your own, I will do a separate little video on how to break down an object into shapes to make collage. But for this project I have already created these different elements. So I have a saucer, which is an oval shape, a cup, which is another originally an oval shape. This one's upside down, sorry. Which was another oval shape that I cut a little curve in. So we have the cocoa and then the cup, and then a handle, which is really another oval shape cut in half. A lot of ovals in this. These three elements, or four elements, I did on a piece of oak tag, so it's a little bit like a stiff cardboard. All right, you're also going to need a glue stick and some oil pastels and some scissors. I'm doing this on a black mat so that these pieces show up a little bit better for you today. We are going to start by picking 4 different prints, 4 different textures that you created. Make sure you guys can see that. So I've picked 2 warm and 2 cool. And I'm going to decide what I want for my cocoa cup. And this one, for me, I think I'm going to make this one the cocoa cup. This is going to go onto this background. That's going to be my cup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my tracer randomly on here, and I'm just going to put it right about there. Okay, so there's my cup. Next, I'm going to figure out what I want to make the cocoa look like. I think I'm going to use this. Oh, that's the saucer. I think I'm going to make this texture the saucer. This one's going to be the cocoa. And then this one will be my handle. So let's put these up here. They're kind of out of the way. I'm going to start by tracing my handle. Now, if you have a habit or it's hard for you to keep something still, you can put a little piece of tape on the back. I'm just going to hold it down with my hand, and we're going to use a black oil pastel. We're going to trace around it. I'm going to keep my finger on it so it doesn't slide. But we certainly can put a little piece of tape if it looks like it's going to be wiggly. So there's my handle. Let me put this one to the side. I don't need that tracer now. I'm going to not lose it. Next, I'm going to trace the cocoa cup. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to put it right about there. I try not to put them dead smack in the middle unless that's where the best kind of pattern or texture is. That one to the side. And next I'm going to trace, I may have to put this at an angle, I'm going to trace my saucer. I'm putting them to more, oops. I have not been happy with these oil pastels, keep breaking. I'm going to try to save some because you may want to use it for something else, or a friend may say, wow, I really like that texture that you made. Can I borrow a piece of that? Yeah, absolutely. So if you're going to want to share one with a friend, go for it. Okay. So one of the things I want to show you is I did write on these what they were. So they said cup and saucer. That way I'm not doing them upside down. They're not quite symmetrical, so when we do it, you want to kind of keep it so that they line up correctly, because if I did it this way, it's not going to really line up. Okay, cup, saucer, cocoa, and handle. And a lot of yucky broken pastel. Okay, so I'm going to cut my handle out, and I'm going to try to leave the outline of the black as much as I can. So when I cut this, I'm being super careful. I'm taking little bites. And see where this little knob is? You'll get more control if you cut closer to this than if you do right at the tip. So I get my scissors in, push the paper fairly back. I'm using my non-dominant hand. I'm a righty, so my left hand is my non-dominant hand to move the paper around. My scissors tend to stay pretty stable, and I'm cutting. I try to get rid of the big pieces first and remove them, and then take the smaller little pieces out after. So there's my handle. Notice it still has the black outline. We want to try to save that. It's going to help to make the cocoa cup pop out a little bit from the design. Here's my cocoa. I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to cut this one out. Again, try to keep your scissors facing your thumb up to the ceiling, and use your non-dominant hand to move the paper around. And I'm cutting pretty carefully here. There we go. There's my cocoa. Ooh, that's interesting looking. My saucer. Okay. And lastly, my cocoa cup. And I like this print, so I'm going to try to save the extra paper on this one. There we go. So there are my 4 shapes that I'm going to need to make my cup, and they're all different colors, and I had to do that on purpose so that they start to stand out. Okay, this is curved a little bit. So here's the background that we created. Our saucer will go on first, which is going to go right about there. We don't want to put the saucer teetering on the edge of the table. We want to keep it in the middle so that the perspective looks like it's sitting on the table. If we draw or paste it up here, it's going to actually confuse the viewer, and it's going to look like it's stuck to the wall. So we're going to put it right in the middle of the table. Next is going to go the cocoa cup, and then we have our cocoa, and we have our handle. So that's basically the layout. It's important to put them in that order. If I did it out of order, where I put my cup first and then I put my saucer, what would happen? It would be on top. So we're going to start with the base and work our way up, and that's going to be the saucer. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to add a little bit of, I'm using a glue stick. I'm going to go around. And this one, I don't think it matters. I'm going to do it this way. And I'm going to put that right almost in the middle. There we go. And then I'm going to give it a good press. It's going to take a little bit for these to stick on top of the quick stick and oil pastel drawing, but they will stick. Okay, so my saucer's there. Next, I'm going to go to my cup. Same thing, I'm going to go and put a little bit of glue around the edge and then in the middle. Put your cap back on. And I'm going to try to put that kind of in the middle of this, my oval saucer. Am I straight? Not really. Let's see. Okay. There we go. I'm going to put my handle on, and then I'm going to do my cocoa last. Glue the whole back, turn it around, stick that on. There we go. Squish! I think I'm off to the side a little bit, but that's okay. And then my cocoa, because you can see right now it looks kind of funny, and there is a top and a bottom to this one. So I'm going to go like that. Glue that one down. Great. So this looks pretty good. I think what I'd like to do is some of the black line, I lost it. I'm going to very carefully with my pastel go back around, and I'm going to darken some of this edge that I had drawn before. Oops, I missed a little bit there. And I'm just going to pump that black up a little. If you have a pretty good edge, you may not need to do this, but oops. And notice I do turn my paper around if I need to. Okay, so there's my cocoa cup. Now, I think I'd like to add a little steam or a little something coming out of the cocoa. You could also, if you'd like to, you could draw a couple little squares in here. So it might look like a little marshmallow floating. It's up to you. Okay. And then I'm going to create steam by making kind of a swirly motion coming out from the cocoa cup. And you can make a swirly like this, just to add one more element. So it looks like there's a little swirl coming out of it. Awesome. So this is basically how you'd make the cocoa cup. Here's one that I did earlier. And this is the one that I did a few years ago too. So I hope that you enjoyed our cocoa cup project. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how you use your texture prints to create this collage work of a cocoa cup. See you all next time in the art room. Bye everyone.